Hi, today I wanted to talk to you about what has been and what continues to be the most powerful morning manifestation practice that I do, that I love, that I wouldn't want to start my morning in any other way, and that even if I don't get to it in the morning, I do it at some point in the day. So it's really, really simple, but I have found it to be incredibly powerful, and I'll explain why in this video. So I started doing this in around 2021, and at first we did it as a group. At the time, I was living in Italy, and I had a Abraham Hicks meetup group, and we decided to do some manifestation experiments together. And this is one that one of the members of the group brought to us. Now, she found out about it through Gala Darling, who you might have heard of, and this is something that Gala Darling does with a lot of her, the people in her coaching groups and things like that. We decided to do it as a group, and I think we ended up doing it for something like more than 30 days, and some of us just continued on in this group doing that. But I think the key, as with everything, is consistency. So for those people who didn't continue on or didn't really learn the process, then they didn't get as much out of it. Then after that, after the group, this same friend, we continued to do it together in a smaller group. And then I think whatever, life happens, things happen, and I got out of the habit, and so did she, and we didn't do it anymore. But we started it up again last year in 2023, and we were doing it together every single morning, or me in particular, I was doing it. So what is it? What is it before I go any further? Okay, all it is every morning you create a voice recording in three parts. So we used to do this with WhatsApp and have a little group, and then we would just submit our voice recording directly through the WhatsApp app directly to the group. So what is part one? So part one is talking about what you are grateful for. And I spend a good 2 to 5 minutes every day talking about what I am grateful for, from the small to the large. And often I'm talking about what I'm grateful for from yesterday, from the day before, since I'm doing this in the morning. So I might talk about the things that happened, the people I were with, the opportunities that arose, the synchronicities that I noticed from the universe, the great times that I had, the people in my life, the ease and flow of things happening in my life, and the circumstances of my life, the abundance that I'm experiencing, everything that I'm truly, truly grateful for, and also the things that I want to amplify and attract more of into my life. So if I want to attract more love, then I emphasize my gratitude for where the love is already coming from. If I want to emphasize and amplify money and finances and abundance, then I speak my gratitude about all the things that I can buy and do easily, where I am in the world, the ease even of just transactions, everything like that. The great job that I've had, all of those sorts of things. If I want to amplify ease and flow, like I really want the energy of ease and flow, then I talk a lot about that. And I've always done that. I'm a big one for wanting to always manifest a lot of ease and flow. And so I always talk about my gratitude about that. A big part of that last year was in my move back to Australia, where everything is very easy for me to do here. Since I'm from here, it's easier than it was for me in Italy. Then I talked about that a lot. So that's the first part, talking about the gratitude. And while you're doing it, it's really important to feel it. So I'm really feeling it. You can hear in my voice that I really mean it, that I'm excited about it. So you might need to begin with talking about things that you're grateful for that are kind of lukewarm, that you just feel, yeah, I'm grateful for this cup of coffee, I'm grateful for the sun shining today, but you're not really feeling it. But that's okay, you get started on those and then you really get into the juicy parts of what you're really grateful for. So that's part one of the message that you record. Then you move immediately on to part two, and that is you talk about why today was an amazing day. So notice that you're talking about it in the morning and you're going to be talking about it in the past tense. Why is that important? Well, what we know is that the mind doesn't know what's real and what you're thinking. Okay, so there's no difference in the world of the mind between something that is actually happening versus something that you have created in your imagination. We've talked about this before, but the good example of that is if you think about a lemon right now, if you close your eyes, really imagine the lemon, really smell it, and then you cut it in half and you see the juice, and then you bite the lemon or drink some of the juice of the lemon, your body responds as though you were really doing that because the mind doesn't know the difference. So the mind doesn't know the difference between you speaking, like the day that is about to happen, or you speaking about it in the past tense. Talking about it in the past tense creates the conditions for your body and your life to respond as though that were true. So now, of course, most of you, when you think of the day ahead of you, are not going to be thinking of some, amazing things happening. You might experiment with that, but most of you know generally the shape of your day and what it will be. And so you can just talk to that. So you might talk about, so I often do that. I walk through my day as I know that it will be for the most part. And I talk about why it was an amazing day. So I might talk about how my morning went really well, and when I used to have a job, I would talk about like how well that went and how easy it was to deal with everybody, and the work was creative and fun and fulfilling. And so you see, I'm paving out, or as Abraham says, pre-paving how the day's going to go. If I knew that there was something coming up in the day that I was a little bit nervous or anxious about, I would really talk about how easy it was, how it was full of ease and flow, and it was much faster than expected, less troublesome than expected. Everybody was so helpful that I dealt with, and all of those sorts of things. So I pre-pave that part of the day as well. I also like to talk about how many beautiful synchronicities and downloads and realizations and sparks of inspiration came from the universe, because I like to allow a lot of that in. I like to feel really guided. I like to have that communion with the universe. So I talk about that a lot as well. I talk about that most days in this part of the morning, how amazing my day was. And I go right to the evening, and then, how well I felt. I talk about how amazing my relationships are throughout the day, how my relationship with my significant other is going well, that sort of thing. But in the past, last year, when I didn't have a partner, one of the things that I was very intent on manifesting through the year was a partner. Not just a partner, but obviously the right person for me. And so I would talk a lot about that, about the person who appeared in my life and the great conversation that we had, and how fun it was to, how exciting it was to meet this person. Now, obviously that didn't happen every single day, but talking about it often enough, of course it did happen. Doesn't mean it will happen necessarily on the exact day that you say it, but a lot of the things that you do manifest will happen. I would always talk about how I had so much abundance of time. I still do that. How in the day there's plenty of space for relaxation and creativity and fun and play. I talk about you know, if I know that I'm going to start something new, a new project, I talk about how exciting it was and all of these sorts of things. So I spend a lot of time amping up and amplifying just how amazing my day was before it's even happened. And that's just a beautiful part of it. But there's still a third part. And that third part, again, you just continue right on to the third part, is longer term. Now, your longer term can be a month, a year, 10 years, several months, whatever you want. I do that at random. I don't necessarily pick a time frame because the universe is better at picking time frames for us than I am. But this is where you really talk about the big things that you want to manifest, the big dreams that you have. So again, last year in particular, I spent a lot of time talking about how amazing my partner was. So again, you're doing this all in the past tense. So you're in the future talking about how amazing the last year has been, how amazing your life is right now, how wonderful, how grateful you are for all the beautiful things that you're experiencing in your life. So last year in 2023, I spent a lot of time talking about how loved I felt by my partner, and I would really talk about all the elements that I wanted in my partner, that I felt so seen, so heard, so understood, so loved, that we were so compatible, that we had the same sense of humor, that we liked doing the same things, that we loved talking to each other and just spending time talking to each other. And these are all things that I wanted. So these are the things that I spent a lot of time gushing about how wonderful he was in that part of the message. And I would have been doing that for probably 3 to 4 months before he arrived in my life, where I spent like a lot of consistent time talking about him before he arrived. So not very long. And I didn't necessarily talk about him every day because I had other things going on in my life, other big things that I want to manifest. But quite often, I would say the majority of the time, talk about that. So now that he's here, what do I talk about? I talk about our wonderful life together that we're building, where we are traveling so much and we have our 2 beautiful homes in Italy and our beautiful home that we share together here now. We do not share a home here together now, not yet. We're working towards it though. The beautiful home that we share here together now, and the lifestyle that we're leading, and the friends that we have, and you know what we get to do with our family and friends. So I talk a lot about that. I'm at the moment, because my main focus for my manifestation after I've decided to leave my job and take a leap of faith is about all of the wonderful things and creative things that I'm doing that are making me a lot of money and are giving me a lot of fulfillment and are making a big contribution, because I want my work to have those 3 parts to it. I want to make a lot of money, so I talk about in this part of the message like I'm making over 100,000 US a month, or you know, I might talk about those sorts of figures in passive income, and I talk about how fulfilling it is, how I love getting out of bed in the morning to do this work, and how I love the contribution and community that has formed around the work that I'm doing. So I talk a lot about that. This is for the future part. When is it in the future? It doesn't really matter. It might be tomorrow. So, but within that, I've left my job. So I have been guided towards that as a next step, towards moving towards that. I felt guided to do that. So I have, even though that reality doesn't yet exist, but it's there. I know it's there. It's just a little bit in front of me now. I talk a lot about my health and my youth and vitality, and that the older I get, the better I feel, the more amazing I look, the younger I feel. I'm so healthy and vibrant and energetic. I talk about how much I love my body and all of those sorts of things and how healthy I am. I talk about my wonderful friendships and my relationships with my family. these are the things that I'm mainly focusing on now, but that will change and evolve because as these things manifest, I will have more that I want to focus on. But I went from doing this with my friend to now I just do it on my own. So now I don't use WhatsApp. I just use a voice recording app, a free one that you can get. And I just speak into that every morning for a good 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes longer, really. Sometimes I could do it for 25. I get a bit carried away, but on average, 10 to 15 minutes every day, even if I don't get around to it until the afternoon because it's a Sunday and I had a nice sleep in with my boyfriend, so I'm not jumping out of bed just to do that, but I still make it a priority. And I do it every day, and I feel like when I do it on my own now, because nobody's listening, it's just me, I'm just more raw, more honest, more expansive because I don't fear that anyone might be thinking that what I'm trying to manifest is silly or too much or, is too much of an expectation, etc. So that's what I've been doing, and this is the most powerful morning manifestation practice I've ever done, and probably the longest standing practice that I've ever done as well. And the reason that it works so well is because it has so many of the elements that are essential to manifestation, which are, you have to have a really clear intention. Speaking it out like this makes it very clear what you want. It's not some thought that you have in your mind, a daydream. It's very clear, and you speak it very intentionally. So that part, which is so important, is covered. As you are thinking, you are feeling. You do it, you think and you feel, you think and you feel, you think and you feel for a good 10, 15 minutes. So that, again, a very important part of manifestation. You're doing it in the correct way. Past tense. That's very important. You begin and you continue through the message with lots of gratitude. And that is obviously sets the exact right vibrational tone, energy, frequency for everything as well. The consistency of doing it day to day, that is what energetic work is. I'll be doing another video on that very soon, but energetic work is the way that we are, in my opinion, we should be living life energetically, which is creating everything energetically first and then taking inspired and symbolic action. So that is absolutely the energetic work. And from that comes so much inspiration, so many ideas that I know are downloads that are not just ideas that I have created or gained from listening to somebody else, that they are just, inspiration that come to me. So the energetic work is working. And yeah, I think these are the main components that make it so powerful. And it just starts your day off in a way that says, I believe, so it's all about committed belief as well. I believe that I live in an energetic universe and I create energetically. And by doing this every day, you are showing up time and time again to say that you are committed to this, you believe in this, this is the way that life works. So give it a try. If you have any questions about it, how to get started, what to do, etc., I would love to hear from you. But good luck, and I hope you love it as much as I do, because it has absolutely 100% changed my whole life in every single way. For the better, of course. Okay, see you next time.